You always do this. You always do this, bro.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Desi Ballers. What a game today. My god. This is why I watch the NBA, Gopal. If you're ever wondering, this is why I watch the NBA.
Yeah. I agree. I agree, man. It was like both teams like gave everything they had, right? There was nothing left. They were gassed, dude. Like people were like panting it. So, man, this is the playoffs, dude. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. And I love obviously the result.
So let's talk about it, guys. Today morning, which is Indian time, we had the Lakers Nuggets Western Conference Finals game 2. And this was a hell of a game. Many people loved it. I loved it. I was checking Twitter on this. The hashtags were going wild. The amount of tweets, my God. I'm curious on what the numbers are for this game. But what a performance by Jamal Murray. So, to give you a brief, Lakers built up a comfortable lead in the second quarter, early third quarter. And then Nuggets, I don't know what happened. Lakers just couldn't stop them or couldn't get easy buckets. Nuggets had a big run. They started the fourth quarter, Gopal, 25 on a 25 run.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, they built up I think, a 12-point lead at one point. And the crazy part is, it's not like Lakers gave up. There were a couple of times in the fourth quarter when Austin, dude, I don't like Austin Reeves' play style. It's very James Harden type, trying to draw a lot of fouls and that kind of play style. But
Hmm.
some of the shots he made in the fourth quarter towards the end when they were down, he hit back-to-back threes, 6 points, and those 6 points straight. And he was part of another 7-0 run which the Lakers made. But Nuggets had an answer every single time, and they took care of business at home. They have a 2-0 lead. They beat the Lakers 108 to 103. Gopal, what did you like about the game? What did you think?
Yeah. So first off, since you mentioned Austin Reeves, dude, he gets like a bang three always. It's like a thing for him. I don't know. Maybe it's like a signature shot of his. I don't know if you've noticed this. He ends up getting a bang three like every alternate game. So that's one. So maybe that could be a thing. Apart
Right.
from that, dude, Jamal Murray, man, like he's back. I think law of averages, 23 points in the fourth quarter, and
Yeah.
like straight up. See, this is the kind of shots I'm okay with. Okay, because it's not like he's over dribbling and spending 15 seconds
Right.
posting up. Right, it's a very decisive at the perimeter, 2 3 dribbles, take a shot or drive. Right, very and man, and LeBron was guarding him. Right, some of these open threes or contested threes. There was no missing, man. And Nikola Jokic had an ordinary triple double. If that's ever a phrase, an ordinary triple.
So while you have this, Rakesh Maheshwari says miss shot turnover and why AD took 3 pointers during crucial time in the fourth. I don't get it.
Hmm.
Rakesh, I agree. I Some of the shots in the fourth quarter which Lakers took were very questionable. In fact, even Austin Reeves shots, they were so questionable, dude. They just
Bang three,
went
dude.
in. uh, no ways he was calling bank. So
Yeah.
Rakesh, I mean, not just what AD did, right? Early in the fourth quarter, when Nuggets were on that run, back-to-back possessions, LeBron James took some very bad three-pointers, and he's capable of hitting a lot of three-pointers, but he needs to take them in rhythm. He just came down, pulled up, came down, pulled up. Like that's not his game. And the crazy part was on those 3 points, Jokic was not even completely back in the paint. Like he could have easily driven and got easy buckets. They didn't need a lot of threes. Same thing with Anthony Davis. He hit one corner three, cut the lead down to three, I think.
And then he
And then
stayed in the
suddenly
corner.
just took, yeah, so suddenly he took two more 3 pointers. He's a very bad 3 point shooter if you look at his, data and statistics. I guess he thought that the bubble three which he hit, maybe that will come back and he'll start hitting some of the threes. But I was very surprised with some of the shot selection, and I attribute this, Rakesh. If you're looking at the game, I just think that Lakers got gassed by the fourth quarter. They just didn't have enough energy to make smart decisions. LeBron James made very uncharacteristic turnovers, which I've not seen in a very, very long time. I was very
Yeah.
surprised, and this was crazy. So what else? Like, what else do you think,
No,
Gopal?
no. So about you spoke about LeBron, right? Like, so those threes, I still, like you said, he was, I think, 0 of 6, which
Right,
is, and on an average day, he would have made at least two of those, right? If you go by his numbers, and I mean, obviously you can't question LeBron, right? But that layups, man, he's missing layups also. I forget the threes because he's trying to do that whole windmill kind of thing, which he has done, which he does every year at least twice. So
right,
those kind of things come back to haunt you, especially in a close game where you could just finish the play, right, rather than going for a highlight. Those things I think will come back to haunt them. Overall, I still think Nuggets were not looking comfortable throughout the game until the fourth quarter. So yeah,
right,
maybe the Lakers were gassed. I don't know, or it was Jamal Murray just going crazy. But if you look at this entire game, Nuggets were on the back foot, and the fact that they were able to get this win and go 2-0 up, is a very good sign for them,
right.
right? So yeah. Also, MPJ had a solid game. I think they
Okay,
Bruce Brown again for the second straight game. He was terrific off the bench. So a lot of heroes, man, for the Denver Nuggets. And the Lakers, uh, they didn't play badly. That's the crazy part. But that's what the your sort of bandwidth of making mistakes is so less. Like AD, I still think it was a good surprise move of him, hitting corner threes because Jokic was giving him that space. If he had made those shots, we won't be talking about it. We'll be talking about AD's versatility, right? So, but I think him sort of going out of his comfort zone, taking threes, it also took him out of the offensive rebounding, right? So I
right.
think all these things come back to haunt the Lakers. Hachimura, we haven't spoken about him at all. Like he
He had
was
a big game.
he was huge, man. 21 points off the bench, and also the whole Hachimura Jokic matchup. If you look at it, even he was guarding Jokic on one end, and on the other end, he was attacking the rim, right?
Right.
So again, there are many positives for the Lakers, but at the end, if you don't get wins, these
Mm,
positives don't mean anything. So,
absolutely.
so yeah, man. Very,
So
very.
let's go player by
Uh,
player as we try to analyze this better. First things first, let's talk about the star of the game, Jamal Murray. Now, look, if you remember the bubble season and the season before, uh, Jamal Murray, specifically in the bubble, with a team which had Nikola Jokic on it, probably was their best player, which is saying a
hmm.
lot. And like specifically in the bubble, he played amazing. But with his injuries, he missed two playoffs. I must think that Jokic must be so happy having him back. Like, Gopal, go ahead and give me your take on how you felt Jamal Murray played.
Jamal Murray was huge, man. Like that's what I'm saying. When your defense is totally geared against stopping someone like Jokic,
Hmm,
you can't expect him to have those superhuman performances game after game. See, that was the main issue with the Suns. If you look at it, right, it came down to Booker and KD having to go off in every game. That's not sustainable, right? So
hmm,
Jokic, for example, when he was missing those kind of the kind of shots that we expect him to make, the off balance runners and all of that,
hmm.
he needed help, and he got that today. Jamal Murray, and the best part is he can create shots on his own, so that
Yeah,
also takes a lot of pressure off Jokic to always be the guy either scoring or facilitating. Right?
right.
It also let's also talk about the fact that it gives Jokic rest. Right?
Hmm,
In a game like this, when you know that there are some possessions where a guy like Jamal Murray is just going to handle the entire possession.
right.
So I think more than Jamal Murray's scoring, the impact that it has on a guy like Jokic, on a teammate like Jokic, where he knows that he has someone he can trust
Right.
down the stretch. And then not just him, right? We can also talk about Bruce Brown. KCP didn't have a lot of.
Yeah. So before
Yeah,
we get to those players, so let's talk about Jamal Murray.
yeah.
Now, if you ask me, the Lakers got to give Jamal Murray the same kind of respect and defensive pressure they gave Steph Curry.
But they had
When
Vanderbilt on him. In theory, that's what they apparently tried to do.
No, that's not true because on Steph Curry, when he came off the court, when he came up the court, at any given time, you had at least two players pressuring him. Jamal Murray, a lot of times they left him single open. not defending him very tight. A simple example is, let's take game 4 of Steph versus AD, where Steph has a similar shot where the game is super close and AD defended him.
Hmm.
AD came really close, forced Steph to take a easy shot. Whereas when Jamal Murray was in a similar position, AD gave him so much space.
Hmm.
And you can't do that. Like Jamal Murray, when his shot is going, is no less than a Steph Curry. Like
Yeah.
if you see Twitter and Reddit when the game was going on, when he was hitting these shots, everyone was like Maple Curry, Maple Curry. Because that's how good he is when his shots going, Gopal. Like it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I've seen this before, like even during the bubble, even the last times he was a part of the playoffs, and this time also in playoffs, like he's had huge games. In the playoffs, Gopal, he's averaging incredible numbers. So you're talking about an effective field goal percentage of 55%. That's
Wow.
crazy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's absolutely crazy. And you're talking about what, like 27 points per game.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you have to give him the same kind of respect you give Steph Curry. Now the problem is, if they start defending Jamal Murray like they did Steph Curry, there's chances Jokic can go off. But here's the thing. I know for a fact that Jokic is not a high volume shooter.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Jamal
Hmm.
Murray, if he gets going, he has to be your top priority. Like, he is a high volume shooter. He will take every shot. He does not give a damn. And I love it. Like when he gets going, when he has that tunnel vision, right? I love it. Like
Yeah.
you have these people who say, no, you gotta be a team player, this, that, minimum 5 passes, all that crap. Buddy, when the guy has it going and he's like Jamal Murray, you try to figure out how you get him as much space as possible. No passing, no team play, nothing. This guy has power to get you. Dude, he scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. Lakers completely scored 24, all put together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. So the thing with Jamal Murray also, again, is the timing of it, right? His ability to suddenly catch fire in the fourth quarter. It's just hard to. By the time you realize and by the time you start guarding against it, he's already scored 10, 12 points,
Right,
right? So I think like his ability to score in bunches, this is similar to is kind of exactly what we saw with Tatum, right?
right.
In the previous series, like 3 quarters ke liye, like nothing, and then suddenly like the dude just goes ape shit. Right? But so then my question to you is, so you're saying Jokic single coverage, and then Jamal Murray gets like a very very tight. But that's my point. Point is they had shooter. Lakers had shooters and they had Vanderbilt. So and they are elite defenders, on ball perimeter defenders. So I think what do you do?
So what I'm trying to say is, when I say give him the same kind of respect as you did Steph Curry, right? So let's try to understand this. What am I referring to? Now, if you look at the way the way Lakers played Steph Curry, one is off the pick and roll, make sure that Steph Curry is swarmed. No
Hmm.
drop coverage. Both the players who are part of that pick and roll have to swarm Steph Curry. Off ball, you gotta play very tight single coverage. And the moment there's chances that he's getting screened, the person who was guarding the screener also has to come on Steph. So again, off ball also he's getting swarmed. Now, why am I telling this? If you see Jamal Murray, despite these crazy players defending him, Nikola Jokic set screens and he got wide open shots, Gopal. He got
Correct.
wide open shots. And then, even when you're defending him one on one, you can't give him sufficient space to make his moves, to easily get into a rhythm and then take a muscle memory 3 point shot. That's going in every time. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, so there's no doubt that Jokic, especially a big body like him, setting screens that really frees up and gives a lot of airspace to anyone, right? So to
Yep.
recover from that and to close out on a scorer, not even a shooter, he's a straight up scorer. When he's like some of those, I mean, we're not playing it now, but like for example, there was one which LeBron contested, a couple of them. Okay, LeBron got right up, man. It was like he actually did that whole hi-fi defense thing, no, where he still made those shots.
Right.
Correct. So, which is where I'm saying that uh, to
No,
the
so
Lakers. Yeah.
by
Sorry.
that point, he's already in rhythm.
Yeah. He's correct.
By
Uh,
that point, he's like, oh, I'm
It
like, he's
doesn't
got his
matter. Yeah, it
rhythm.
doesn't matter.
After that, it's game over, dude. Like, you just got to tip your hat to a player like that. Like, you can't really do anything after that. I'm saying early on in the game itself, even if he doesn't have his shot going, you got to do what you did with Steph. You got to do what you did with Clay. Don't let them get a single shot off. Like, you got to play that kind of and look at some of his numbers. These are huge numbers. So
37, 10, 5, 4. That's what I
37
have.
points.
Also 10 rebounds, 4 steals.
Yeah, he was massive. He also defended the rim really well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
LeBron James missed two wide open layups and a dunk, and he missed shots on Jamal Murray. I was like, what's going on here? Like, so Jamal Murray is the rim protection which Denver has always missed, huh?
Yeah, yeah, the Nuggets defense really stepped up because that is something also that Michael Malone spoke about, right? Like in his half gone voice. I don't know if that was coming on Geo Cinema. That dude's voice is like
He's short. It's short.
it's completely short. So I think the Nuggets defense, no one talks about it, but it really stepped up, man. It made life miserable for LeBron also. Like even some of those layups that LeBron missed, there were late contests also by Aaron Gordon and stuff. It's not like I say he
Well
was
said.
expecting Aaron Gordon to block that, which is why he missed that up and under move.
Well,
So yeah, credit to the Nuggets defense for coming good, uh, especially in the last 15 minutes or so. I
well
still
said.
think Lakers did a better job rebounding. I don't think rebounding was such an issue for them as it was in the first game.
Mhm.
So yeah, but transition defense again. Now Nuggets were able to get out. Dude, there are so many coast to coast layups. Okay, and that's the thing. Many of these happened in the first half. So these are things that are going to come back and haunt the Lakers because in a close game like this, when a guy gets Bruce Brown is getting the rebound going and then scoring on the other end, there were
Right.
no bodies on them. How do you allow like straight line drives coast to coast?
Yeah, so the weakness for Lakers has always been their transition defense. I was very upset with the Warriors that couldn't take advantage of that transition offense, like by pushing the ball more. But talking about Nuggets, now let's move to the second reason I feel they lost. So, people, of course, you're not going to give credit, but I feel their rebounding, many people don't look at it much. Gopal, the Lakers had four offensive rebounds, the Nuggets had 11.
Ooh.
That's like seven more possessions to such a high powered offense. There's no way you win a game.
Hmm.
And the reason, and I'll tell you why this is a significant number and why I feel this is a very important factor, which not many people are talking about, is unlike any other team in the league, the Nuggets are huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Like, dude, you have players like so Michael Porter Jr. who's going for 7 rebounds, Jokic going for 13 rebounds, and then you allow Jamal Murray to grab 10 more. Jokic going for 17. I'm sorry, and you allow Jamal Murray to grab 10 more. I mean, come on, like. I understand that they're a big team, but you can put up a better effort. Like you could see that on the offensive side of the glass, Anthony Davis didn't have a great rebounding night. The way I look at it is this, Gopal, that someone, when you're playing Nikola Jokic, he'll guarantee at least 5 more possessions in the game just with his offensive rebounding ability, number one.
Hmm.
But overall, when you have a bigger team, right, and they are playing with a lot of effort and focus, you, I don't see this particular stat change even in LA. What do you think as they go to LA?
No, I do think the Lakers rebounding numbers will get better at home. I think
Okay.
a lot of rebounding is effort driven, and this is something again. These are literally Lakers calling card, right? Their ability to rebound, play half court defense. So the rebounding is something that I still expect them to clean up. And I also do expect them. You're talking about Jamal Murray and giving him the respect that he deserves. I think now he has earned it because. So these are two things I expect the Lakers to clamp down on, and obviously again they're playing at home, and that always makes a difference. I expect a bigger rather game from AD,
Hmm.
right? Because even he's now sort of playing around, he's experimenting in terms of how to be effective against Jokic.
Hmm.
LeBron is not going to make these sort of silly ass mistakes. Lakers are going to be playing with a lot of desperation. right? So all these are things which are going to help the Lakers on the defensive end. Okay, in terms of not giving, for example, Nuggets many second chance points. One thing though that I still feel, one more stat which I'd like to highlight is the 3 point numbers. Okay, Lakers shot 8 of 30, right, and then and Nuggets were 14 of 38. So I think this again is a big, even including Austin Reeves and hitting those crazy shots. The fact is, you can't just shoot eight threes, especially against a high scoring offense like the Lakers. So these are two things I expect the Lakers to get better on. Obviously, their rebounding numbers, like you said, cleaning up the glass, gang rebounding, and the second is if they are able to get these rebounds, then hopefully they can push the pace and get some open threes. So I do see again. I'm not. I know maybe it's too early to do prediction, but yeah, I do see Lakers winning the next one. So
Interesting. So let's talk about another facet of the game, which there were a lot of funny comments about this. So Gopal, check this out. Back-to-back plays
oh
where
yeah, this was crazy. Yeah.
LeBron acts as though he's fouling. He's flopping like crazy.
Yeah.
Look at him act. What a
Well,
performance. So Jokic is like, what the hell? You think only you can act? You think I don't like the camera? And then the immediate next play.
it's unbelievable, dude. It's like football level stuff, dude.
Oh man, this one I was like, when LeBron on in the press conference says we don't practice flopping, I'm like, dude, come on. When I see plays like this, you can see it's very well rehearsed. And just see this play. Now, there's no Jokic is huge. He's known for his strength and balance, guys. And he got it like he got him back instantly.
Yeah. No, this is where I feel like you need AI, bro. You need AI refs. You
Look
need
at it.
like some 20 cameras, all
No,
artificial intelligence
so
based.
why did I bring this up? So I want to bring up a specific point here, which is uh, one of the reasons why I feel the Warriors were unable to beat the Lakers was the free throw discrepancy. For whatever
Hmm.
reason, I felt Lakers were getting a favorable call. Plus, but then that's probably me just being a fan. But at the same time, their inability to create a lot of rim pressure and all of that to get to the free throw line consistently. Now, on the offensive end, Denver Nuggets pressure the rim a lot, right? So there's good amount of chances of them getting calls. But on the defensive end, I told this to you last time also, Gopal. It's just that because Jokic rarely goes up for a contest, there's no question of getting foul calls.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you gonna call? Like he's two steps behind the offensive player. He doesn't care.
Correct, correct.
And some of huh?
Yeah, to answer this quickly, I'm just giving the stat. So Lakers went to the free throw line 26 times as against 18 for the Nuggets. So Lakers did have an advantage, but yeah, they didn't go like 40, 45 times to the free
Yeah,
throw line.
like the way they did against the Warriors. So against the Warriors, Kevon Looney and Draymond Green would like beep, beep, beep. Like every, in a minute, they would have three fouls, two fouls called on them. And they would go up for contests and go for hard contests. Nuggets don't even go up for a contest. Jokic is like, he just does this.
Yeah.
So there's no question of getting into foul trouble. I mean, what do you think of this, Gopal?
No, I agree. I agree with you that that I don't think the Lakers are going to the free throw line as much and as often as they got to against the Warriors. That's what I'm saying. If you look at AD, also the fact that he's spotting up in the corner,
Yeah,
it's also a sign that he's having trouble scoring in the paint, right? Because against a bigger guy like Jokic, it,
yeah,
it all adds up, right? That's a sign. It's not just about him trusting his 3 point shot. I don't think that's that. He like, bhai kuch ho nahi raha hai andar, so let me try and go to the 3 point line. Right? So I think Jokic is very smart in terms of how he uses his body.
hmm,
How he cuts off angles, stays between man and basket. So these are very fundamental things, right? That's what you love about Jokic. Whatever he does is fundamentally sound. There's nothing fancy. And the
yeah,
fact is, in today's NBA, a lot of you sort of overthink it, right? It's just very basic stuff that he uses. He uses his size. He uses his footwork and he uses his intelligence. So automatically, you do these things, the number of fouls that you concede drop. So yeah, I don't. The Lakers are not going to
And
win the
also,
series on the free throw line. That's
yeah, that's true. And also, I feel overall the Nuggets is a much better connected squad on the defensive side. Quite a lot more disciplined when you
yeah.
compare them to, your Warriors, where Warriors just didn't had a bad season. They were not very disciplined. This is one of the reasons why the free throw discrepancy is not huge. I'd pay attention to this in Game 3, because let's move on to the next segment which we're going to talk about. Is because it's the game is day after, it's very quick. So from that standpoint, Gopal, what do you think, what are the Lakers adjustments which they need to make if they want to come out and win it?
I think they go back to Schroeder in the
Starting line.
perhaps in the starting lineup. I think that is something that I would do, because I think Schroeder does a great job in terms of harassing guys like Jamal Murray, right? I think that is something that I expect the Lakers to do. One immediate adjustment. Then the second, of course, is I how they have to figure out a way to keep their rebounding on point, they have to figure out a way to get out, right, or on transition. I don't know. Do you have the numbers with you in terms of how many points did Lakers score in transition? I don't know if those numbers are even worthwhile in terms of and then of course uh, maybe I don't know. Maybe LeBron handles the ball more, gets into more early pick and rolls with AD. The LeBron AD pick and roll we're not even seeing, right? This used to be like their thing, right, in the regular season or historically. Where are the LeBron AD pick and rolls? Like I don't even remember seeing this ever. It's all Austin Reeves, or LeBron is a guy who plays the screener. So I think these are things they have to try out, because you're down 0-2, and it's time to sort of borderline get worried, right? because you threw your best punches, and the previous round they were able to win one on the road,
Yep.
right? So now the pressure is completely on them. They have to win both games at home, otherwise this series is actually going to be done in five, right? Which
Which
honestly I
was your
was,
prediction?
yeah, but it was a prediction, but still, come on, man. The Lakers is just like, you can't lose in five. I just think that's
So
well, I don't know what to
Gilbert
say.
Arenas in his podcast
Huh.
always says that Lakers can get a favorable whistle whenever they want. So I'm wondering what's going to happen in the next game. Now, for me personally, I really hope that Jokic wins. Uh, I do want the Lakers to win, because this team which Jokic has, I mean, a lot of the players are pretty much the same players from last 2, 3, 4 years. They've
Hmm.
had huge fights, and because of injuries, they've not been able to play together. There's history for this team. There is a system. There is an MVP who has to win it all once to prove that he is one of the best players of all time. There's so many storylines which you can make for Jokic trying to win this. But on the Lakers side, they're the Lakers. Like that's their I
Correct.
hate it. Like, and the style of play of Lakers basketball also, I don't like it. It's that bully ball type style where they're trying to get to the free throw line. Austin Reeves specifically, I hate that style of play, dude. Baiting the refs with flops and fouls. I as a viewer, I'd like, oh god, stop this shit. So I
I'm
just hope the Nuggets win it and take. I no talking about Game 3, right?
hmm.
I hope Nuggets come out and play like it's a must-win game. I hope they come out and play in a fashion where, like, they should play like it's an elimination game. And the reason I state this is you don't want the refs to get you back, like to make this into a series. And I highly expect if Lakers take Game 3, the refs are gonna blow the Nuggets out in Game 4, and then after that it's an anybody series, because you have that man LeBron James right there. Like I'm sure by Game 5, 6, 7, he would have figured out a lot of things, and he gets better as the series goes on typically. So you don't want that to happen. I hope Nuggets come out and play in a manner where like it's an elimination game, because they got to take Game 3. And honestly, everything they are doing right, they just got to figure out how to maintain that intensity for 4 quarters without letting
Hmm.
up. Like
Yeah,
today, I felt the first and second quarter they didn't have that intensity. What do you think?
yeah. So again, this is one of the reasons why I said they need to win in five, because the longer a series like this goes,
Yeah,
the more you're leaving to chance.
right,
And I say chance, I'm also including whistles going against you, right?
right,
So if you want to beat a team which is favored, and which has that historical legacy, it's important to completely take them out of the series
right.
and make them feel like there is no chance in hell you're going to win this series.
Yeah, like you gotta beat down a team like that. You can't give them a small sliver of hope.
Correct. So it'll be very interesting. You're right. It'll be very interesting to see how the Nuggets treat game three, because they are up 2-0, right? There's a very good chance that they will play at 80%, 90% intensity, and the Lakers are going to come at 110. So I
Right.
think, again, like I said, the first quarter, first half is going to be uh, huge for both teams, especially the Nuggets. All that the Nuggets need to do is withstand those initial punches. I see the Lakers playing, coming out of the blocks very, very aggressive, playing with a lot of pace. I expect them to also knock down a whole bunch of threes, right? So then what do the Nuggets do? Right? So
That punch back has to be massive.
exactly, right. Just it's more about just standing while you're getting punched, right? So I think that's what it's a boxing match, and I think this is where I love Jokic, because I don't think he gets too high or too low. Whatever the result, I think that's a very huge presence. Someone like Jamal Murray is still going to have ups and downs, right? He can disappear in some games, in other games he can do what we saw. But I think Jokic is going to be a stabilizing force for the Nuggets, and if they go into half, within single digits, trailing by maybe single digits, then the pressure again is completely on the Lakers, because they'll sense that the Nuggets, a run is coming, the kind that they were able to stop with the Warriors, but they were able to get to the free throw line,
Yeah.
right? So let's see. Again, it comes down to how often are the Lakers going to get to the free throw line, and if Nuggets can defend without fouling, then we are looking at a very, very exciting game, which could match what we saw in game two, which would be great for all of us.
Absolutely, and I hope that Jokic comes out and has a massive game, because I don't expect their role players to.
What is massive, dude? He always has massive game. That's the
No, so
definition
I'm
of
talking about what's the definition of massive? I'm talking about that 50-55 point game with 15 assists and 12 rebounds. That kind of game. The reason is I think they will need something like that, Gopal,
yeah.
especially because, as you said, Lakers are going to have a huge game. If Jokic is able to have such a massive game, it's going to be something else. So Tushar has a question for us. What's your view on the LeBron injury? Tushar, honestly, LeBron James is one of those players who I think was gifted by God to stay away from a lot of injuries, which would put other players out for months. I don't. I think he is playing a bit injured. I think his leg is not completely there. However, I don't think it's going to affect him, because I feel LeBron is one of those players where if his injury is serious, he's not going to even try to play.
No,
If
wait.
you
Which
think about
injury is Tushar talking about? Right? Is he talking about
So
the
there
injury that
was
happened in the
in the
game?
game, in the game,
Huh.
yeah. So that I think there was a mild ankle sprain. I don't think it will be a huge issue. Look, I have had ankle sprains in my life, multiple ankle sprains in my life multiple times, and one of the things you realize is eventually when you have them 2-3 times, you understand how to rehab from them very quickly. And if you understand the rehab process well, you will be fine. It's rest, ice, compression, elevation. So I'm sure LeBron has some of the best physicians out there, and they'll make sure that he's undergoing this. So I think he'll be fine. So Tushar has a follow up question for us, Gopal. He is question is he actually injured or playing victim card of as
No,
excuse
no,
if
no.
they lose?
Arey, no, no. He doesn't. We know the answer. Obviously, he's kidding, right? It's like a semi joke sort of comment, but
Dude, come on, man. Look, I think LeBron is at the stage of his career where a loss will not really affect his legacy. In fact, even if he wins it all this year, it's not going to affect his legacy. So I don't
No, no.
see an
If he
incentive.
wins it, it makes it interesting. We're talking about what, 5 rings.
Yeah, man, but still, people who are fans of Jordan, unless he wins 6 or 7, like, so I don't know if you guys follow the NFL like the way Tom Brady did in
Hmm.
American football. Unless he gets to that 6 or 7, I don't think people are going to have that conversation or take it seriously ever. So my question to you is this: so if you say, if I take your comment seriously, and if you say, is he actually playing a victim card? What is the incentive for him?
Yeah, yeah.
There
It's
is,
it's not.
he
It's
has
not.
no incentive at all. So I don't think like क्यों करेगा? I mean, I can understand early on in his career if he would do it. Abhi, bro, see players like LeBron, Steph Curry, they've just ये सब से उठ के बाहर निकल
No,
गए.
so I have some factual point here. I'm just reading CBS.
Mhm,
Okay, the ankle that he injured in today's game or
mhm,
yesterday's game, depending on where you are,
mhm.
was his left foot, and the one that he had been dealing with since February is his right.
Right.
So it's a left foot thing. So again, that's another reason why we should not get too worried about he. And he himself said he made it clear that he would not be sitting out game three. I'll be ready on Saturday. So yeah, let's take his word for it. And like you said, his durability is one of his defining features.
Absolutely. Availability is the best ability. I keep saying this, right?
Correct, correct, correct.
Like this is the biggest knock against Zion Williams also. Although he on when he's playing, dude, he looks legit. One of the scariest player out there, but he's rarely playing.
Yeah.
So you don't get, that's the thing, right? You'd never get uh, appreciation for good games. I mean, you got to be available. Like you're never gonna get appreciation if you are injured and you miss big games. Like that's never ever gonna happen. You'll
Yeah.
probably
Also,
get
dude,
dissed.
I just noticed some. I realized LeBron is 0 of 10. He hasn't hit a single three in the first two games, like combined.
Probably he's gonna have a big game. He's gonna go like 8 of 14, 8 of 16. You
Yeah,
never know.
that's something I do have the Lakers
This is why I
winning.
think. This is why I think Jokic has to come with the mindset that I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
score
Jokic
55.
has to be crazy. Like he has to have a crazy game for Nuggets to win game three.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens. He has to go crazy, and either Jamal Murray or KCP, one of these guys have to go crazy.
I think KCP is due for a rebound game.
Yeah,
ब्रूस
he.
ब्राउन का हो गया 2 गेम अच्छे से खेल लिया वो ही इज गोइंग टू टेक द थर्ड गेम ऑफ
One thing I must say about Bruce Brown, his defense on LeBron has been great. He's been pestering him so much.
yeah, I like Bruce Brown is a guy who backs his talk, right? He's not just yapping for the heck of it.
Yeah.
This is the perfect guy. He like a milder version of Pat
Draymond.
Beverly.
That may be an apt comparison. Even his, and he's big, so he's six
Yeah.
five, 6'4", 6'5". So he of course has more ability. So guys, that was our show for today.
Oh, we're
If you
not
have,
even talking about about Miami versus
so we'll do it
Boston.
tomorrow.
Okay, ठीक है चलो.
We'll do it after tomorrow's
Jimmy
show.
Butler, Jimmy Butler. That's all we're done. That's our analysis of the first game.
Yeah, I know. Like, Miami versus Boston. If you want quick thoughts, Gopal, what did I tell you? It's a series where it's Boston's game to lose, and they just showed it. It's literally that. Because you're not going to expect Miami Heat to make mistakes, but I expect Boston to make like 50, Boston to make 50 mistakes a game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's, I mean, when I watch the game, right, every possession, like क्या बकचोदी कर रहे हो यार, क्या बकचोदी कर रहे हो? Like it's like, see, in some cases where you're like, okay man, like the other team is just better, or the other team is just, more consistent, or the other team maybe just has, is just their day. Whenever you see a team win against the Celtics, you're always like, यार क्या टाइम पास कर रहे हो यार, और ठीक से खेलो तो सही, क्या किए जा रहे हो?
Dude, it always feels like that men versus boys thing, na? Like guys who have even in pickup, no, there are these uncles. Oh, fuck, dude, people call me also uncle now, so I should be careful about that. But the point is that when there are these old uncles who play against kids,
Hmm.
those uncles don't have a lot of things, but they have that smarts, they have that experience, they have that efficiency. So, and Kevin Love, though, bhai, he looks like a guy who could be like a mid-level manager, right? Like corporate-looking dude, okay. And Kyle Lowry, all these guys, right? They have been around the block. So yeah, man, Celtics, exactly what you spoke about. They can't fool around against the Heat. They will get swept, really. if they do
Yeah,
that.
I swear. I know. This is like the variance in a Celtic series against a bad team. The variance is less,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
against a good team, especially Heat, like forget about any other team. Just the Heat against the Heat, you do your variance is crazy. At one point, you have so much talent that you can win it all.
You can reach the finals, conference finals. You can reach with talent.
Yeah, but the variance, right? Like especially when you're looking at when I say variance, right, it's like between game swings. You will
Hmm.
not have that with the Heat. Every game you beat them, right? You have to work your ass off.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So why I'm saying this is Celtics have this tendency of not taking it seriously, or I don't know like what happens to them on the court. I don't think it's lack of seriousness, but if you start playing around with that variance you have with teams, you're screwed. Like
I
there's no.
appreciate your more selective choice of words. See, this
But
this is this is what is missing with the Celtics. Now they're unable to check themselves. They gotta go all over the place. But yeah,
so so why I say this, because you want to bring this up, you just brought back a lot of emotions I had yesterday. But quarter three,
hmm.
people are like, oh wow, Miami Heat went on a run and all this, right?
45 points. Okay, by the way, Miami
46.
46. Okay,
46.
huh?
They went on a run, right? You know what
Hmm.
was the most clear part of that run? Or what was the part which stuck to me, or which I was thinking about a lot? I was
Yeah.
like, none of these buckets or none of these points which the Heat are getting consistently is happening because of forced errors. Majority of them were unforced errors, Gopal.
Hmm.
Unforced errors. Like, dude, a team like Heat, which applies so much ball pressure, and you're giving them unforced errors, it's game over. Because with their ball pressure, they're gonna force a lot of errors anyway.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
So,
correct.
so guys, that's about it for today's show. See you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye,